Hello and a very warm welcome to a special spin-off episode from That Grassroots Ramble, episode 1, where we spent a good long time having a good old ramble about social media and the benefits that it can have for football clubs. We were amazed by the response. We got lots of really positive feedback and lots of you telling us about your experiences with social media. One particular guest we are delighted to welcome to the studio today.
Yes, that's right. Today we're delighted to welcome Jem Toygar from Piccadilly FC, who managed to grow his Twitter following from 0 to 3,000 in just a number of years. If you're new here, consider subscribing. If you're already a subscriber, ring the bell. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and we'll know to make more videos of this kind. Jem, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And Jem, you are manager of Piccadilly FC, who compete in the London Underground League. That's quite unique, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The London Underground Football League started in 1996 by a chap called Andy Anthony, who's no longer with the company anymore. But the league all started actually with a tournament between teams that represented the different line of the London Underground network. And at the end of that tournament, the District line and Piccadilly line were in the final. And that's where the bitter rivalry comes from. But it was so popular that they decided to make a league from 1996. Division 1 was formed, one big division with all the teams in it. And what that enables everybody to do is it enables them to have a good work-life balance outside of work, but enjoy sports and activities.
And I understand you took over in 2015. Can you tell us a little bit about how that situation came about at the time? I
was a fringe player for the Piccadilly team, so I would say that I wasn't necessarily the manager's favourite back then. After the management left, they decided that they couldn't commit anymore. My colleague Paul Stewart took over for one season, but because of the commitment, again he couldn't really continue with it. They got relegated from Division 1 to Division 2, and they were about to fold. So I volunteered to take over, and in my first season in charge, we didn't win a single game. We lost every single game and drew one. So I had to go through a brand new recruitment drive because I had
spoke about recruitment a lot on the show, haven't we?
So I had a lot of unreliable players, sometimes unfortunately with grassroots football, non-league football, as you know.
It's a common thing.
Yeah.
So after kind of steadying the ship and putting that plan in place, your vision on the pitch, you focused your attention off the pitch on social media. And can you tell us a little bit about the kind of powerful force that's had for your club?
We got onto Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, different platforms, and we just found out what was the best platform for us. And for non-league grassroots football, for me, for our team, I found that Twitter was the best one for us.
That's something we found, isn't it? Twitter seems to be popular.
One of the tips that we spoke about in the episode was kind of being experimental across the different platforms, but not feeling like you have to do every single one of those platforms to pick your channel that you can do best on and really focus your energies there. So like Jason said at the start, you went from 0 to 3,000 followers on Twitter, and that is no mean feat, is it? So what kind of things did you do to help grow that audience?
So what we've done was we interacted with local businesses in the area. So obviously our team plays at Caledonian Road, Market Road in Islington in North London. So we started following local businesses that were already on social media. We'd go and visit them. Sometimes I'd go and have a drink with the guys there if it's a bar or a pub, or we'd go and eat there if it's a restaurant. Mem and Laz, one of our sponsors, we'd every year go there to do our end of year player awards. And then because we were regular customers, they then agreed to be a sponsor for us.
It's so funny because that links back to episode 2 of the Ramble, where we spoke about content marketing and the cyclical nature of doing your social media right, building those relationships. It kind of all feeds into one.
It does, yeah. Interacting with local businesses is definitely the one to do.
And the other thing, we built a good relationship with Arsenal in the community. Every year now they invite us, they're so kind, they invite us to the Emirates Stadium at the Hub, and we play a 7-a-side friendly with them. And last year, for the first time, we played 11-a-side friendly with them as well. So because we have these good relationships with people locally, it gets other people to be able to notice that, and then they want to get involved. So
you have your online community and your offline community, and they're both talking to each other.
Exactly, yeah.
And you had, I think you used the Follow Friday hashtag. That's quite a popular one for you guys.
One of the most important things with social media, and I think Charlotte mentioned it in one of the previous episodes, is putting out hashtags that's relevant to what you're doing is so important. So Follow Friday, we have a community of non-league teams where we always support each other. Some of those teams, like for example, for instance, Caversham United, they're very active on social media, on Twitter, AS Roma English account.
They do loads, don't they, profiling?
They do.
I think that's maybe something we haven't emphasised enough for people watching, is that they have their own kind of local football communities where they can support each other and then support and help grow each other's following.
Yeah, even we've had teams, non-league teams from across the pond in the United States, Motoric Alexander, they always retweet our tweets for us and we do the same for them. So it's all about collaborating and supporting each other. And then there are other hashtags that we use, like non-league, grassroots, groundhoppers, and it gets more and more people involved.
Moving away from hashtags specifically, in episode 2 of the Ramble we spoke about content marketing. What kind of content do you post on Twitter, which is obviously the platform that you've decided and found out is the best for you? Any other tips for people about what gets the best response?
The best response or the best posts that get responded to are probably those that have an image, a picture or a GIF, because I tend to find that people are quite visual. If you just write a text, it gets lost in translation. People just scroll past it. Yeah, exactly. Whereas if you've got something, it's just bam, right there, they're not going to miss it. Sometimes it can be something that's funny, interacting with people. Sometimes it can be something that's just relevant to your team or what's going on, like current fixtures that are coming up, football scores, stuff like that.
Do you find, tagging other people that you follow and they follow you back, if you tag them in a post that's perhaps relevant to them, that gets even more traction?
Definitely. That works almost 9 times out of 10. So
hashtags and tags, essentially.
Hashtags, yeah, it works very well together.
Now, you've had tremendous success as a club, last 2 seasons, winning back-to-back league titles and reaching a cup final. Do you think you'd have built such a solid club without the use of social media?
In one part, yes, and in one part, no. Yes, in regards to players, because we have our own internal way of recruiting players for our teams. No, in terms of popularity. No, in terms of volunteers. No, in terms of groundhoppers or fans that come and watch us. I'll give you an example of that. The league's been running since 1996. The league has it's equivalent to the FA Cup, the LU Cup, not just the leagues itself. And for the first time this summer just gone, we had 100 people come and watch our game. Now, it might not sound a lot.
No mean feat for that.
No, it isn't. And for a lot of people watching, to get 100 people down to their game and
people that we don't
is a big deal.
People that we don't know. There's not an area for them to sit down and watch and spectate. It's literally a cage around the 11-a-side pitch.
Yeah, that's the perfect success there. And I think one thing that a lot of people watching would want to know about firsthand is the commercial sponsorship, because like you say, you get some funding from the TFL, but like many people watching, their clubs have to be sustainable. And you touched upon like the links you have with business. Do you think social media is an integral part in attracting sponsors?
Definitely. I think it helps when you build the amount of followers that you have for those businesses, whether they're local businesses or businesses in general. Like, for example, we have our sleeve sponsor, our current sleeve sponsor, Kinley, Folkard and Hayward estate agents of the branch in Highgate, but they're one of the biggest estate agents in London. And they approached us in terms of, we didn't know there was a London Underground League. Can you tell us when the next fixtures are? So on and so forth. I took that opportunity to then hold discussions with them and say, well, actually, we're looking for another sponsor. Would you be interested? And then from that, we got a second sponsorship. Yeah. So it's definitely important.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think when you gain a sponsor, it's a great thing, and obviously they want to see a return on the investment. And actually, it's a good way for you to show that you're still actively promoting that sponsor, isn't it? With social media, they can see that you're actually talking about them.
Yeah, because not only are they plonking their logo on the sleeve, but online you're able to make them feel really valued by showcasing them to your followers.
I think that's the important thing with sponsorship, is that you don't just take their money and run, and in a year's time you go back to them and say, oh, by the way, can we have another £800 please? What you have to do is, what are you doing for them, for their business to benefit as well? So, you know, it could be simple stuff. So like, for example, Mem and Les Brasserie, who sponsor us, who's our main sponsor, we get our friends and family to put reviews on TripAdvisor for them, something as simple as that. KFH, we retweet their tweets and posts, and they're happy with that. So
I think it's a bit of a common misconception in football that if the people that sponsor clubs tend to be just someone involved with the club, and they don't expect to see a return on investment, they're just doing it because they love the club. That's not the case, is it? There can be a return on investment.
There are loads of different marketing incentives of why a business would want to sponsor it.
Sending people to a restaurant is a great example, you know. Yeah. And what about volunteers? Has Twitter generated any interesting offers for you?
Yes, I mean, we've had a lot of students from different universities come down and volunteer to help out. They've also come down and asked us if they could do an article on us, on our team specifically, and the London Underground League. One particular chap, Aaron Patel, who's been fantastic at the Metropolitan University, he did a piece on us at the Holloway Express newspaper. Alex Irons done a piece on us, an audio piece on us, and put it on SoundCloud. We've had a UEFA official, Scott Struthers, who goes round and does inspections for the stadium, come round and support and volunteer.
Gosh, that's like really far-reaching.
And that's just from social media. It's bonkers.
A guy called Steve Carpenter. He is one of these groundhoppers that goes round to view different teams, and he's got his own Facebook page of over 5,000 followers, and it's a place where amateur photographers or people that love non-league football can post their photos and videos on his page, and he's come and supported us, and he orchestrated us getting a friendly with Tooting Bec FC, who was in the FA Cup last year.
Yeah, so it's like a rolling spiral, and even today you've brought some publications that your team is within, and I guess, is that just again another example of social media being a platform to...
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been so powerful. We've had David Balcombe come and watch us, and done a piece in View magazine that we were in, When Saturday Comes magazine. We've collaborated with Essex FA, who've helped us with our league programme as well. So social media has just been so amazing. It's opened so many doors. And if there's anyone that I haven't mentioned, you know who you are.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You can tag them in some tweets after.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean, to grow the following you've got, how much time would you say you're spending on average a week on social media?
I would say I'm on social media every day, which my girlfriend probably hates. But it's normally the peak times in the mornings and in the evenings, pretty much when people are on their way to work, when they're actually on their devices. I have found through trial and error that sometimes when you do put posts out and it's really late, the response is just really zero or very low. So between 5 and 8 in the evening, or between 7 and 10 in the morning, they're the peak times.
See, I love that, because again, like when we spoke about use of social media, using analytics and stuff like that to guide you, so that you know your posts are going to have as much impact.
You've definitely got to track what you're doing, haven't you, to plan again for the future.
There is no point just kind of speculatively putting stuff out there. When it comes to, you know, we spoke about it again, we haven't got all the time in the world to spend on social media. We do want to have a bit of a social life as well. Do you have any tools that you use to help with your social media work?
Yes, so specifically in regards to the graphics, in regards to the pictures that we post, when I first started out, it was just generally using, notebook on your phone. But I found that the more professional it looks, the better response you get. Yeah. So I use Photoshop specifically for fixtures, for upcoming fixtures, scores.
I think that might be daunting for some people, a sort of high-end product like Photoshop, but actually, if you learn the basics, it's a really useful tool.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to use. There's a couple of apps that you can download and just do it all from your phone. So you don't have to actually sit on a computer and spend hours doing stuff. They've actually simplified the way that you can use it. We've teamed up, we did team up with a company called Everleys, who actually make the graphics for you, and then all you have to do is just put the scores in. So again, it's collaborating with different people.
There's definitely some products out there, isn't there?
Yeah, cool.
There are other products out there, not just Everleys, by the way.
No, of course. And finally, what advice would you give to any other club out there that are about to embark on a social media journey from scratch? Because they will be out there.
I think it's not just about managing a football team. It's about your brand and your identity. You need to know what your brand and identity is.
Get your personality across.
Yeah, exactly. And what you want to achieve with that. And it's about interacting with different parties, with different businesses, collaborating together, doing your bit for them, as well as, you know, getting support from them for your team as well. So that's what I would say, really.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, Jem, thank you so much for taking the time to come and visit us in the studio. It's so nice to have someone on the sofa that is kind of living and breathing the stuff we spoke about in both episode 1 and episode 2. And I think the work you're doing with Piccadilly FC is something you should be very, very proud of. And the success you had from the work, the endeavour that you've put in on social media is really rewarding. So congratulations for all you've done.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming down. On that note, it's time for us to go, and I hope Jem's story has inspired you in your own social media journey. We'll put all of Piccadilly FC's down in the description for the video. Do go and give them a follow.
And as always, we would love to hear from you. Do you have a success story from your grassroots team that you could share with us? Or alternatively, do you have any questions or queries you would like to pose? Leave your comments in the section below or tweet us using the hashtag AskMyClubPro. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, we'll see you next time for episode 3 of that Grassroots Ramble. Until next time. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a ramble.